Hello and welcome to Loud Creations. I am back with another mead recipe, and this one is cranberry-orange, which I'm super excited about. I love cranberries and I love orange, and the combination of the two ought to be amazing. So how did I come up with this recipe? Well, it's a couple of things. One being that it is springtime, and if you're into astrology, we are into Taurus season, and Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. And so this turned into kind of like a Venus ladies mead. So let's start out with the ingredients. So it's not just a Melomel, which is a fruit-based mead. It's also a Metheglin because I used herbs. I am up to my ears in lemon balm. So first ingredient I will show you here is a bunch of lemon balm that I went and clipped in the backyard. And then I also used blue vervain, borage, if I'm saying that wrong. I don't know why I can't pronounce that one. Borage. And lady's mantle. Now, lady's mantle was given to me. My sister went to Scotland and she brought back some souvenirs, and that was one of her souvenirs for me. And so I decided to add that in as well. And at the end of this video, I'll get into a little bit more about each of the herbs that I added. I used 2 large oranges and about a handful or a cup, maybe almost a cup of raisins. And I'm going to be using D47 for this mead. And I will be adding a little Go-Firm and doing the whole slurry thing, which I think helps keep the yeasties happy. So we are here now. So just to walk you through the process of making this, I went ahead and I put half a gallon of water, filtered water, into a pot, and I added my frozen cranberries, and then I turned it on high and let that start to boil. While the water was heating up with the cranberries, I went ahead and I chopped up my lemon balm and used, I would say, just under a quarter cup of each of the other 3 herbs. So the vervain, borage, and lady's mantle. Once those were in there, I tied it off and the water was boiling. So I tossed them in there and put a lid on it and turned it down to low to let it simmer for a little bit. And while that was going, I went ahead and I chopped up my raisins roughly, and then I tossed those in as well, put the lid back on. Oh, leave the lid on. So I added my raisins and stirred that up again, went back, and I went ahead and peeled the oranges. Now, I washed them really well, and because I'm going to be using the zest, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything on there. I got organic oranges, but I used my fruit and veggie wash and washed them really well, and went ahead and peeled them. And then I got the zest off of the peel. So you don't want the pith, or at least I don't, because it can leave some off flavors. I want to say I used about the zest of about 1 orange. And I went ahead and just tossed that into the tea mixture too. And the tea, I'd say I let it steep for about 10 minutes total. And then I went ahead and while that 10 minutes was still going by, I sliced up my oranges and went ahead, and once the 10 minutes had passed, I took the bag of herbs out of there, squeezed it out, get the last little bit of goodness out of there, and went ahead and poured it into my 2-gallon bucket. And then I added my oranges and stirred that around. Went ahead and put in my honey. For this, I started with 3 pounds of honey, but I ended up adding more. I might have maybe put too much water, more than a gallon of water in here, because the OG just wasn't quite where I wanted it. We'll get to that. So stirred that up really, really well. Took out a little sample of it, about, 3/4 of a cup, put it into a jar along with half a teaspoon of Go-Firm, stirred it up, set it aside, and went ahead and added half a gallon of cold filtered water to this. And like I said, it might have been total more than a gallon. And while the Go Firm was getting ready and everything, I went ahead and took my first gravity reading, and it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. So I added more honey. Couldn't tell you how much, probably, I don't know, a cup, maybe a cup. Stirred it up, and basically I added honey until I got to the gravity that I wanted. Once the Go Firm slurry was ready, I actually added some cold water to it, and then I added my D47 yeast and let that wake up for a minute. Once those yeasties were ready to go, I tossed them into the pool of cranberry and orange goodness. And hopefully this liquid wasn't too hot. I don't think it was. You want it to be around body temperature. D47 for me has been very picky. So I'm going to try to keep this in a nice warm spot while it's fermenting, so there aren't any issues with it stalling, because that happens. Where am I going? Stirred it up really well, took my final gravity reading, which ended up being 1.10, and got my airlock with some sanitizer fluid in there. And I'm going to let this just go for a week or so before I rack it into a jug and take it off the fruit. I also plan on step feeding this. This will be getting some Fermado. This will be getting some Fermado tomorrow, day after that, and then around the 7th day, if I remember, because I don't always remember. Okay, so that's what we got going here. It has not started bubbling yet. If I killed the yeast because it was too hot, that'll be a bummer, but I'll just add more yeast. I don't think I did, though. We'll start with Lady's Mantle. This was, again, given to me by my sister, and it came from Scotland. I'm not sure where in Scotland, but she was out on the Isle of Skye and in Edinburgh, so somewhere around there. Anyway, so I'm just going to read from my big book of herbal medicine on Lady's Mantle. It is best known for assisting with all kinds of complaints, from PMS, by getting rid of excess water and bloating, to cooling and soothing nerves during menopause by aiming to correct hormonal imbalances. So this is why I am calling it my lady's mead, because most of the ingredients that I have put in here are good for regulating hormones, help with PMS symptoms, and they also have a sedative effect, so they can help with the nervous system. A couple of these herbs that I put in here are nervines, so all good. It also says it is just as helpful for inflammation, diarrhea, and other gastrointestinal complaints, as well as sore throats and spasms. And it is not recommended for use by those who are breastfeeding or pregnant. Like I say in all my videos, it's always a good idea to do your own research or check with a doctor before you ingest any of these herbs, because some of them can have not so good side effects if you do that. So it's good to do your research. Next ingredient, let's go with lemon balm. So like I said, a couple of the herbs that I put in here are nervines, and lemon balm is one of them. So it helps regulate the nervous system. Also good with helping with anxiety, stress, headache, and lifting up your mood. Has a nice lemony scent, kind of like a citronella candle, but you know, I think it'll add a nice little hint of lemon to the mead. Let's see, what else? Helps with cognitive functioning. So that's another element here. A couple of these herbs are good for mental focus and help with symptoms for ADHD and stuff like that. So again, lemon balm's also good for lowering blood pressure, and it's antiviral, so can help fight viruses. There's so much about lemon balm I'm sure I've already covered in other videos. I love lemon balm, and it's taking over my yard already. Blue vervain. It can also be represented by Venus, so that's how this is all tying in. It reduces anxiety. It's also, in folklore, it's been used for protection and love. And there is whatever elements in it. It's a nervine, and it helps protect your nervous system. So yay, blue vervain. So more of the sedative effect that I'm going for here. And then borage, it also helps with ADHD symptoms, metabolism, digestive help. It can help with depression. It does have that sedative effect and helps regulate hormones. And it's anti-inflammatory. So any of you ladies getting out there, getting a little older and, your sore joints and mood swings and lack of focus, this mead's for you. It's for anybody who wants to drink it, but this was what I had in mind when I was putting this together. Oranges, as we know, are a good source of vitamin C, and they're just lovely. Let's see if there's anything else I want to read about. So here's some of the folklore around borage. It is, I'll say more information on borage. It's an annual native to the Mediterranean, hairy all over, growing up to 2 feet high. I, borage, grant courage, runs an old proverb, and this points straight to the most important magical and medical function of the herb. Whenever one needs help overcoming fear or depression, borage is an excellent choice. Good to know. Let's do some folklore with lemon balm. One of the oldest medicinal herbs, lemon balm is important in medical alchemy, spagyrics, and the preparation of an alchemical tincture of lemon balm is one of the first tasks set for beginning alchemists in many present-day schools of the Hermetic arts. Interesting stuff. What else do we got? Vervain. Let's go to vervain. Vervain. So vervain is also associated, I don't know if I already said this, associated with Venus. Most of these herbs are in some of the books that I've looked in, so I'm going to just say they are because I say so, I guess. Vervain. And I did my research. That's why, because the books say so. But you can't always... all the books say different things. That's the thing. Vervain is one of the 2 most sacred plants of the ancient Druids, the other being mistletoe, and also went by such telltale names as Druid's weed, enchanter's plant, and holy herb. The traditions surrounding it point equally to its magical importance. It was grown in the garden to bring wealth, placed near infants to make them grow up to be quick learners, and hung in the house to keep evil spirits away. Blacksmiths quenched iron blades in an infusion of vervain leaves to give them magical sharpness. Vervain also had a reputation as an aphrodisiac and was used in many traditional love charms. So many different uses for these herbs. All right, so let's read a little bit about lady's mantle. Commonly considered a woman's herb, the dew of this plant has fascinated various cultures through the ages. Some believe the dew of lady's mantle would change into diamonds. Early alchemists believed the dew could transform baser metals into gold. Much experimentation was done in the pursuit of this belief. Another legend tells us that early on, women believed the dew of the lady's mantle could help them look young and beautiful forever. Well, sweet. I should be putting this in all my meads. They had to do, however, let's see. Okay. I think that's good. Lady's mantle. All right, well, I have another mead going. I'm very happy about this. I have a lot of mead that I need to process. It's just been aging for months and months and months. So that's kind of, I might do some tasting videos. I'm finding that given I just have a very busy schedule, that just making the mead is about where I stop. But I hope to come back with a tasting here and there, or just an update on some of my other meads, especially if they turned out crappy, because I don't want to, share a recipe and say it's good if it's not. So far, I'd say the majority of my meads have turned out really well. The only ones that haven't is when I've used fruit that maybe wasn't ripe enough, like my plum mead didn't turn out ideal. And maybe the plums weren't quite ready. A lot of them probably weren't. So that is my guess. I'm just rambling now. So yeah, I hope this video is useful and I will see you next time. Thank you.